We will welcome everyone to the Blackwater Cantina. Today we have myself, Mike. I haven't actually managed to do any hobby this week, but we also have going down
Mazz!
to Robin.
No, you have me next.
I have you next. Go up,
Yes.
pan the camera.
What have I done this week? I played some other game that shall not be mentioned. Finished painting my murder crows. Yay!
We
So now
don't
I
want to be
have
sued.
1 day to paint some hollow men, which is probably not going to happen. But I did also build this. Nostilla. She's so
Very impressive.
Mine is coming tomorrow,
God.
and I'm so looking forward to it.
Had to stop building Aberration, but yeah, he's massive. I love it. So that's going in every list from now on. Also joining us is
I'm Robin. Mostly this week I've been painting Rocket Men and Touchkin the Ogren Bounty Hunter. Or Ogrum. Oh, it is Ogren.
yes,
You're good.
Cool.
he's glorious. I
If you
really
can't
love the
tell,
model
I'm
for Hudchuck.
dyslexic.
I think he's one of the nicest. Him and Big Alice are my two favourites from the whole like range of
Oh,
Invisible Guard.
I'm really enjoying painting him at the moment. So, but I
Yeah.
send pictures. Yeah, I had to make a conversion for a Rocket Man. I just put a chemtrail on a standard Rocket Man to make a Rocket Man Ace.
Rocket Man.
Because our good friend Marcel won't let me have his,
No,
and I think that's rude.
it's not donating you his whole army. No.
He really won't give him up. I asked and begged, I pleaded, but no.
It's alright. They might make it to STLs eventually, and then
They will, and on that day I will have them. But until then, I will still beg and moan in. I also want a couple of stingers. I know I've got the alt sculpt for it, but I really want the normal stingers.
no. Mm. I've been also been learning Blender as well, so I can make some bases for my dark operations and convert some existing base toppers and things. And because War Machine bases are like the top isn't the size; it's obviously the outer rim of the base. So once you account for the rim on a War Machine base, no base toppers
You were
that
looking at 25 mil, so
yeah they don't actually fit. So re
Nope.
resizing them all, which is relatively easy to do, but it's just getting the right size. And then what I'm doing is cutting them
it's
around and
the
chopping them a bit.
same for any of the lipped ring models. I know I play Malifaux, so if you get base stoppers for that, they are always too big, so having to sand and shave them down. Uh, Same for Carnival, that anything with a lipped ring base, it's just like, they're a little bit too big.
I know.
But they are great to kind of like model and terrain base for them though, because you have that little lip where it won't spill over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You can do a bit more with them and sort of have things hanging off the edge a little bit more,
Yeah.
which is cool. Just resizing, but then I'm printing all my base toppers, so I'm just resizing them all in the slicing program that I'm using. Sorry, one of my snakes is going absolutely berserk, and she's all over the place. But so yeah,
So yeah, today we have kind of put a question out to the lovely people who have joined our Discord. Welcome to you. Um, of what they'd like to see us talk about, and one of the top things was what goes into our list building.
this is
Um,
assuming that
I'd
thought
like
goes
to
into our list
say
building.
a lot of thought went into mine. It really doesn't. Do I own it? Is it painted? Cool.
There's definitely a few ways to go about building a list, isn't there? So,
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
first and foremost way that I think most of us play is the rule of cool. Like, okay, what's my favorite
Yeah,
model? I want to put that in the list. Cool. What else?
Excuse me.
It
which
looks
is why
awesome.
if people are playing games with us in the future, they will see at least two Nostilla and Aberrations.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't have Cricks, you won't be seeing any of those in our lists. But
So yeah, I mean, like, especially with the way that the Mark IV armies work, so Wintercore, Necrofactorum, House Callus, everything like that, they are more like what used to be the theme lists in previous ones. So they tend to be a single theme in the list. So building around a particular theme, but even then, there's some subdivisions in it. But like the older legacy armies are a much bigger range of miniatures. So
if you can get hold of them,
if you can get hold of them. Well, we're not going to worry too much about the older armies. We'll kind of focus more on the Mark IV stuff, but this can be applied to the older armies as well. But for rule of cool or what fits in a theme, the Mark IV armies pretty much will all fit in their theme. Some of them will have like a little subdivision. So in Dusk, you've got the Ghosts of Ios, the Living Elves, you've got the Dreadguard, and you've got the Soulless. So you could, in theory, build a list in those particular little camps. And especially with the Ghosts of Ios, they've got a lot of synergy with themselves. So actually, that's a good way of building lists, and it's something that actually works quite well in Mark IV. You can go, right, I'm going to take all of the things that have this particular theme, like all of the Captain Foulblood's Armada and the guys that all came in that box all have synergy baked in together. So actually, that's a reasonable way about building a list.
Yeah.
So rule of cool, there you go, that's it, done. List building sorted. So
End of episode. See you later.
Exactly. If you're looking to put a bit more thought into things, then there's a few different ways to go about it, and none of these are hard and fast. This is just kind of the way we approach things. So it's going to depend.
The way we've found things work, or
oh, excuse me,
how it kind of works in our brains
Yeah.
that are just melted the goo.
So
Uh,
if you were building to go to a tournament, it depends on the whole multitude of things, but a normal tournament, you will take two lists as a list pairing, and then in each game you'll pick one of those lists to pick. So when building your lists, you'll want to have two different things to consider. So you'll have one that will be good against breaking high armor, one that's good at high defense, one that's really good for scenario play. So you'll have like a start with a thought like that from when you want to build a list. Go, right, okay, I want this list to be going for assassination. I want this list to go for scenario play. Or you can choose the caster you like the model of. Go, actually, I like this caster, and then have a look at them and see, right, what kind of list do they fit. So there's a few key things that you can kind of look at when you're looking at the caster that will give you a good idea of where they're going to fit. So if you're looking for assassination casters, I like to wave my arms in the air and shout everything's an assassination tool, but then some casters will do the assassinating themselves, some will support something else to go and do the assassination. So that's,
Like we discussed, like one of my absolute favorites to do the assassination on its own is Dakfus, because he can defend himself quite easily after the feat turn. You just pile souls on him and his armor's just going to keep going up. We have he does have the ability, as long as you rack the spells right, to just walk in and murder just about anything around him.
Yeah, so you got a few key points there when you're looking at a caster who's going to be doing the assassination. The key thing to look at is, one, do they have the accuracy and damage output to do it? Are they going to be themselves putting out enough attacks or enough damage? Are they going to be accurate enough to hit? Whether that be at range or in melee, like Decathlus' melee is only 2-inch melee range or 1-inch? I can't remember.
He has a 1-inch melee range.
So he needs to get there. Thankfully,
Yeah.
he has ways of teleporting, so he can get over stuff. As Mike alluded to as well, because he's a frontline caster, he's got the feat to stack up armor so he can survive in case things go wrong, or if he needs to get in position for a turn and threaten and stay alive for a turn, things like that.
My favorite one kind of thing with that is Mazz didn't like him when we played it, but Shadow Tongue, because if you pair him with two surgeons. But just double checking if I could take two surgeons before I say that. Solo surgeon. Yes, I could take two. And you can revive up to, I think it's about 4 models per turn from that.
Yeah.
And if you're playing old armies, with Shadow Tongue, I tend to run 2 units of crew. Sorry, I'm forgetting every name of the crew now. The Marauder crews tend to run a lot of pigs. Bringing them back each turn after they've taken a hit, it's a really good thing to do. So I find that synergy works really well with them. And then you've got all sorts of other spells that you can do with Shadow Tongue as well. So not really going for the assassination or anything like that, but if you've got objectives that you need to hold up, it's really nice just to be able to bring back those models.
Yeah, I mean, he falls under one of the other kind of assassination list things of your caster's not necessarily going to be doing the assassination, but they bring armor or defense debuffs or something like that. So Helith, Sabrith, Shadow Tongue, and I'm going to say Denegra because from the old school armies.
Yep.
They bring debuffs to cripple your opponent as long as you can get them in place.
I mean, talking about debuffs to cripple your opponent, Cynthia Roscoe with Crippling Grasp.
Yeah. And there's some sort of debuff.
Whilst we're on the topic of assassinations as well, I was just going to say, Winter Corps, I've never had a bad game where I haven't tried to assassinate at least one of your warcasters with a favourite character, which is Boriski.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's another one.
Big Boris.
He puts out so much damage by himself. He's range 14 as well, isn't he? So he's got a long range.
Yeah, he's range 14.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to stay away from like the front line as long as he can get a clear shot on the caster. That's 9 times out of 10 goodbye.
Yeah.
The one game that even me and Mike was surprised by, I think it was my first outing with Bjorsk. Sorry, I'm just going to call Boris because it makes it easier for me. We actually had to check with one of the the LED ruler just to see if it could go. Yeah. It was a tight shot between 2 buildings.
A little laser pointer.
That's the one I can remember it, but yeah, I managed to get that shot off. So he is definitely one of my favorite assassination warcasters.
Yeah.
You got a favourite assassination caster, Mazz?
Excellent Texas. He, to be fair, I haven't played him since the rejig of the rules, but he's got the other type of support where he can move things out of the way and get things to where he needs it. He's kind of the scalpel caster, which is why it kind of always fits. Out of Dusk, Tyrus, he's really good. Again, movement shenanigans. He can get things out of the way, move your things up to extend your threat range, and kind of get people from unexpected angles and just sort of, that little 2-inch move can just get you looking down the right place or just in range where they thought you weren't in range before, or things like that. So yeah. Then you can have there's lots of different ways to kind of go for that extension. And there's one of the reasons I prefer the support assassination casters or the support casters is because will also help dealing with other things. So
Yeah.
even if you're not going for an assassinating the enemy caster, they can target that key piece and get it out of the way, or get it removed, or get it debuffed or crippled, or get your piece
Oh
to
yeah,
where it's in an optimal place to take theirs out. So
It's like
kind of.
my last game was the other week. We had those games against the Chimera,
yeah,
and just out of the blue, a Zero Fury Warlock was sat right next to one of my malefactors.
yeah,
There was no way I wasn't going to try for an assassination on that.
exactly. Even if it's not the intention of the list, sometimes the opportunity's there, isn't it? So
Yeah.
um, so there's lots of things to consider if you're looking at assassination. What if you're looking for a list that's going to break high armor or high defense? Again,
It's,
yeah,
I was gonna say one of my favorites for breaking high defense is Captain Firequill,
yeah,
just because the amount of shots that he puts in, especially if you go through like the incendiary rounds or anything like that, he can just make your life a little bit of a living hell. Especially if you buff him with like quartermaster, yeah, with the quartermaster or anything like that, which gives +1 to shots as well. It just makes it so much nicer just to be able to have 3 shots in one turn, and they're all being pistols as well. So it doesn't matter if it's close combat or out of range.
yeah.
Uh,
So there's one of the things that I'll always look for when I'm thinking, right, okay, I'm expecting to play against a high defense army. What am I looking for is going to be anything that buffs melee or ranged attack rolls, anything that debuffs defense. So those kind of key things, or extra dice automatically boosted, anything like that. So Exelon Kythos is an excellent example. He brings the one that gives all of his arcane attacks for the whole army boosted attack rolls.
Yeah.
At which point you're going from an average of 7 on 2 dice to an average of 10.5 on 3 dice. Sorry. Suddenly, hitting that defense 14, 15 isn't anywhere near as hard. So where you would need to roll, if you're arcane attack 6, you need to roll an 8 on 2 dice. Actually, needing an 8 on 3 dice is less than average. Suddenly you're going to be hitting most of the time. So running the numbers, knowing the average rolls on 2, 3, 4 dice, whatever, is always handy.
yeah.
So
Just whilst I have the opportunity to, before somebody in the comments corrects me, it's the first mate Stormjaw that I was thinking of, not the Quartermaster, because that works with the Marauder crew.
no. Okay.
I mean, another thing that I like to try and think about is the attrition game. Like, trying to kind of get things to last. And for me, I mean, there's 2 ways I can go about that. I've got Mortenebra with the Warjacks, because being able to recycle one Warjack back onto the field. I mean, when is it not going to be one of my heavies if that's been just destroyed?
Not one of your chickens.
Not
Extra
one of my
chicken,
chickens. The chickens are usually there to be annoying, but infantry wise, Sepsira.
No.
I
So
mean, just
attrition stuff's probably best suited for if you're looking to go, actually, I want to build an army that's going to win on scenario,
yeah,
outlasting your opponent. So you're not looking to buff or debuff your to hits and damage and things. You're looking at buff armor and defense, and anything that can revive, anything that Grim returns, putting stuff back, or press ganging and adding more people to your unit, and all sorts of stuff like that. So playing that attrition game. Again, lots of casters that can do it.
I
some
feel
do
like we
it
should
a
have.
lot. What was
Right, I
that,
was
mate?
going to say, I feel like we should have a disclaimer as you guys were talking about this going, these guys think that like landing on objectives is playing the game wrong, so scrolling banner screen, so
Well, I
right
mean,
place to remind me, if you're not killing things then you're not winning, so
that's it. Well, it's not. Yeah, there is no wrong way to play, and that's one of the things that we love about War Machine is that
that's
it's
not
not.
that's not that's not true. Mike told me I'm playing wrong all the time by playing the
He
objectives, so
does. But that's
Yes, but
because he
that's
always
because you took
forgets to take them.
You took infantry to a warjack fight.
yeah, I
And
did.
what happened, Robin?
We don't talk about the dark times. Also, the other thing is for any new viewers who are watching us, when we say chickens, the plushie behind Mike's head is the Bone Jack Ripper.
Yes.
That is what he's referring to as a chicken. It is
This
a
is my
wonderful
Death Ripper.
model. Death Ripper,
He is
sorry.
called Nugget.
Yeah. So the
He is our mascot.
Cricks light jacks look like angry robot chickens, thus are affectionately referred to by the community as chicken jacks, or just chickens, or death chickens.
See, I
So
much prefer the older metal. I'm still trying to hunt one down, so Mike, if you have a spare one, the Death Ripper with the Death Leaper with the little wings on it, that
the
has ridiculous.
shrikes.
Shrike.
The Shrike, yeah, because it has a
I don't
ridiculous
think I
amount.
actually have any shrikes.
The
Yep.
model is absolutely ridiculous, but the rules for it is it has one of the best flights in game for movement.
Yeah.
It just makes me chuckle every time.
I'll have to have a look.
Could be wrong, but I just remember somebody going, "Yeah, I've buffed it. This does this, and it flies this far."
Glorious. Glorious. Um.
Anyway, back to our previewed
So yeah.
channel.
What else? When you're choosing your caster, two important things: read the spell list, know what the spells you've got to do, and what options you've got for the spell rack if it's a Mark IV caster. Picking the spell rack to go with whatever you want that caster to achieve is a good way of dealing with it. Obviously, you can also change the spell rack before you deploy for a game. So if you find you like I've built a list for high defense, and then actually your opponent is running all heavy warjacks from Kador, you don't need high defense there. They're all defense 10. So actually 11 now. 11 for the Winter Core, aren't they?
Yeah.
You're going to need some more armor breaking. You can swap the spell over. So it does that. Makes you a little bit more flexible. Secondly, and probably the most importantly, always read your feat. Understand what the feat does. This will probably give you a good base to build the list around. I'm going to lean into an extreme example, and of course it's Dark Operations because it's me. Cognifex Siphon buffs cohort models and gives them +3 speed, +3 mat, and +3 damage. That doesn't affect infantry. Take lots of monstrosities, take lots of cohort models. So understanding what your feat affects is kind of key. Hazaroth, for example, out of Dusk, his feat's a bit more generic. It replenishes everyone's hit points, whether that be jacks or infantry or whatever. So you want lots of multi-wound things, lots of tough things.
Yeah.
He also has a rule which allows him to keep undead models alive. Thus, when building your list, take undead models with lots of hit points. Take big, meaty jacks with lots of hit points. He's going to love the Phantasm.
I mean, I've discussed two of my favourite casters in Crix, like Mortenebra being able to bring back a Warjack, or maybe a monstrosity.
Yeah, so if
That
you've
is-
only got one jack in the entire list,
It's pointless.
yeah, the feat's not as effective. So
And Dekfus, his feat just gives him 5 soul tokens.
it just makes him better at murdering things. So
Makes him better at surviving the clapback if someone comes in and tries to slap him.
Yeah.
But
the same.
also in Crix there is the Soul Taker head on the Malefactors. the soul claiming head, sorry. And literally, if an living enemy model is destroyed within 4 inches of the malefactor, the soul for that model goes straight to the warcaster.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter for distance. Just as long as they're within 4 inches of the warjack.
So it's important in two things there. So one, if you're going to be taking, if your caster can take souls, things like that on your
Yep.
jacks are great. That not only gives it to your caster, but it stops your opponent claiming it for whatever one of their things as well. You get a preference on it.
Exactly.
So it's another point to look at on your casters. Do they have any rules like field marshal, battle plans, leadership, or elite cadre that will affect specific units? Moraine, for example, has funeral rites, which is when a friendly Ghost of Ios model is destroyed. So when you're building your list, consider that. Make sure you're taking models that trigger that ability, so you're getting the most out of it. A lot of casters will kind of tell you, especially the ones that are in the command cadres or in the cadre boxes, tend to be quite internally balanced.
Yeah.
The frog chief guy, whose name I cannot pronounce,
The big one.
something like that. He buffs everything that does fire damage. Again, looking at the Brine Bloods, it's all the frog units that deal that fire damage. So I'll take the units that come in the box with him. Funny that.
Retaliatory strike.
Mm-hmm.
Like field marshal retaliatory strike. So if a model's hit by a enemy melee attack, you just slap them back.
Exactly. All of these kind of things are all appearing on the caster. So that caster choice is key for when you're list building. That's going to sort of dictate what other kind of things you want to take, or it's going to have the most effect on what you want to take in your list. Once you've decided on your caster, it's time to then look at their cohort. Again, thinking, right, am I building to the things that it supports? Do I want a big battle group or a small one? Another good point to look at there is the arcane stat of your caster. If they're a warcaster or a warlock, if they've got 6 focus or fury for their arcane stat, they're going to struggle to run lots of warjacks or lots of war beasts and manage the fury or focus and to get the most out of them. At which point then, if they are telling you with their abilities that they want a big battle group, have a look at your units. Do you have a support unit that allows you to deal with that? Units with the empower ability are quite common. In fact, pretty much most armies, war machine armies, have them that can hand out more focus to jacks. There's also the shearlings, the shepherd guys in Old Umbre. They can remove fury from your war beasts and keep them all under control and stop them going over their threshold and frenzying and running off and doing something you don't want them to, eating your own units. So looking at that and then looking, so right, okay, do I take that unit with it? Kind of is going to dictate a chunk of your army there as well, especially if you're running a colossal. Suddenly you're sinking a lot of points.
Yeah. I was going to say, even with the solos, going for synergy there, because I know from previous games that I've played against both the pair of you, my favourite synergy is the pig dirigible with the pig cannon crews. The pig cannon crew has a 14-inch range. The pig dirigible, if you have it at that 14-inch range, and then go, it has a special ability that allows it to see an extra 5 inches, giving it +2 to its +2 to its accuracy for its shot, making it a whole 19 inches in range, which is really good. That's why I want to get another dirigible, and why there is a comment on the videos going on. That's one that we did was, please stop shooting Robin's dirigibles, because I like to have extra range.
Yeah.
And
No.
especially if you something like either Admiral Boomhowler, which ties into this as well. Which if you can see an extra 5 inches because she has spyglass, and anything that is in stealth with her, she can then automatically see it. So it makes most people can't see it, but she goes, "Look over there. There's something I think we should target." That gives you that extra bit of being able to play off that because it just says +5 for anything within line of sight. The cannon 14 inches, then going up to 19 inches is a ridiculous amount of range.
Yeah.
Even though I've missed every single shot with that cannon, and I do want another cannon to prove myself wrong that it isn't just my dice rolling, it is just that cannon.
Just that one is
Being able to do
cursed.
those, yeah, that is a bad cannon crew. But no, having that kind of like playability just within the like, not even with the Warcaster. I think I played Mazz with Shadow Tongue with that one, like just using that little bit of thing, and he goes, "I don't know what this does. I go shoot it." And I was like, "Well, I've lost 5 inches of range now." And I was enclosed in stealth myself with the cannon crew because I was in shrubbery. So,
Yeah.
which again, but that little synergy on its own, even though it's just 2 units, I think, yeah, the Pig Dirigible is at 2 points and the cannon crew is at 3. So for 5 points, I have a nice little synergy working there. Which,
Yeah.
if I were to take a different leader, would add another synergy as well. So
It's
again, it's finding different bits that work.
yeah. To be fair, it's another good call out with the spyglass. If you're taking ranged weapons, it's worth considering whether your opponent's going to be taking stealth or what's going to be stopping you shooting the things you want to shoot.
Yeah.
So shield guard and stealth are kind of the main anti-shooting tech that you find.
Yeah.
Having a look through your solos, it usually in the solos there's something to help you get rid of stealth. Gravediggers have got the machine guns. Dusk have got the Mage Hunter commanders. Obviously, Robin mentioned Admiral Boomhowler. You know, there's lots of ways to get round those sorts of bits of tech, but if you're playing a shooting heavy army and you come up against an opponent that's all stealth and you have no way of taking away stealth, they've just taken away what you've built your army around. So make sure you're considering that and supporting how you intend to play the army, looking for those synergies. Usually I find that it's a solo that will provide a buff to the units, so it's worth having a look through once you've sort of said, right, okay, do I want to play a ranged army or a block army or something like that. Have a look at the solos and say, right, do any of these support what I want this army to achieve, or have a key ability that's going to stop my opponent shutting me down. Robin looks like he's about to burst out with some sort of absolutely key insight here.
No, okay, I was just going back to making sure that we're covering all the points from the questions that we had over the weekend. And it was just saying, like, for new players, like, this especially helps, like, would help a new player. I wish I'd known this from when I first got back into 4th edition, because I'm just literally going, I don't know what does what. I can't be asked to read this. I just want to go and have fun and figure it all out later on. And I will just mash things together until it works and hope for the best. Because who doesn't like hoping for the best? That seems to be my motto for my life. So, but with that, I've learned like this video would have been really helpful to me when I first started. So, it was a great deal of War Machine content at that moment in time. So,
yeah. There's a few kind of key bits to sort of think about and some of it will be down to knowing the rules and knowing what's going on, looking out for those kind of gotcha moments that can happen in War Machine list building. You know,
I mean, like, but going back to the initial point, rule of cool: if you like it, play it. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. If it's something you enjoy to use it.
yeah,
You might find someone else, if you're at an event, goes, actually, that's a really cool idea. And then, but yeah.
If I had listened to a person when I first started getting into this, I would probably have a shadow Flame Army instead of the Brown Blood Marauders. Looking at you, Mike. But no, with that as well is if you have the units as well, because they have their own synergies within their crew attachments. So if you have the points left over, I highly recommend taking crew attachments. They are bomb that work really well. So with Kador snipers, you have the Wolfhound,
Yep.
and because him being a part of that sniper group, and he is worth taking because he gives you extra movement from that for just being a little pupper. He can push your guys further into everything that
He
he needs
gives
to, and
the
he's really good for
bonus,
attacking.
bonus to hit for anything nearby him, doesn't he? And plus, he's a dog miniature, and then I always feel bad about when I have to kill the dog. So yeah,
That's
there's
it.
that.
Just have an army of dogs, and Maz won't try and kill
And
you.
then
That
I'll
is
just
what
have
you're
to kill the
taking from
caster.
this.
My
That's
my,
it.
fa- my favorite about this was I asked to borrow Maz's wife's sniper team with the wolf, and this is how I found it out. And he was like, "I've killed my wife's dog." Model really bad about it, but I've beaten
Yeah.
Robin, so all that matters. It balances out somehow. But
Yeah.
me
But
personally, again, it's like one of my favorite units for Prime Blood Marauders is the Pig Shocker crew.
yeah.
Because the rules for electricity, it works the same as oh, I forgot what that poison blue Signar.
Yeah.
With Signar, they will so any attacks that you have left over from the initial one get passed straight on to the next one. Any successful hits go
Yeah, it's
arcs.
the electro leap, isn't it? So when you hit one, it zaps another person in the unit. So
And
it's
if you take the pig, the Coxswain with it, it gives you like the gang of the thing. It gives you the inspiration. Oh, excuse me, and it gives you granted power as well. Those for an additional one singular point to add to them, so they go from a standard 6 points to now 7 points if you're taking him. That then gives you a lot of extra details, and then maybe you want to add a second crew of those because who doesn't like electric? The models looks really cool as well because it's harpoons with eels on it. What's not to love?
exactly. Yeah, and this is the thing to look out for. We've said rule of cool a few times is if there's a unit and you're like, actually, I really like the look of that unit. I like the models, or I like this. Having a look at the other things that go with them can make pretty much anything in War Machine usable or horribly effective.
Yeah. I mean, like my Criterion are they get stupid.
Yeah, yeah, the Criterion
Just-
from
Not
Dark
great.
Operations
Just having
or Crips,
have them sit on an objective and just say, "Come at me, bro."
they just will not die. Especially if you put any kind of armor
I
buff
did. I
on them.
pushed them away.
Yeah, when you're looking at something, have a look and see what it does. Has it got high armor? Is it tough? Is it high defense? Bringing something that pushes that stat more, rather
Yep.
than trying to make up. If you've got something that's high armor and low defense, putting a defense buff on it, it's not really doing very much for it. But putting an armor buff on it to make it even tougher, suddenly that's what makes things more effective.
I mean, anyone watching who played Kador in Mark 1, 2, or 3 know the effectiveness of low defense, high armor.
Yeah.
Because they'll hit you, but are they going to do any damage? Negligible.
Exactly. So
The other point I wanted to make with this is just have fun building a list because there's a lot of trial and errors. Like
Yeah.
again, coming back into fourth edition, I'm just going to classify myself as a new player for not playing for such a long time and everything being new to me. Having fun with a list. I know the game I had against with Mike playing the Legacy Army within fourth edition. Like I could have been absolutely demoralized the fact that my leader got hurt so badly by two of her two warjacks. But I had fun with it. Like I had a really good time. Like even like me talking about games with Mazz, like him shooting my dirigibles out the sky. Please stop shooting them. Like you have fun with it. Like I learned learn new things from playing it. So don't discourage every time you lose, because at the end of the day, we're all here to have fun, especially getting into a new game such as War Machine. Like if you've never played it before, because it is a different beast to many other war table games. The fact is, as soon as that Warcaster is gone, that is game over, regardless of how many points you have. You can still win even if you've been assassinated, but at the same time, it's you want to have fun. You want to make it as fun for yourself as possible. So,
Yeah.
and your opponent, because especially with me, one of the questions we got asked on the weekend was, what goes through your mind when you're playing a game? And what usually goes through my mind is great deal, because even though I'm focusing on the game or making sure that I want to try and do as much things that I can have fun with and I can memorize at the end of it, because most of my time is maybe slightly annoying my opponent, because it's going, I'm going to put this over here for no apparent reason, but will become apparent next turn. And I might not do anything with that unit, but they're thinking of what could be happening over here, where she'll look at this hand, but what's this hand doing? Type thing.
I mean, yeah, like just like you said, mate. I have learned more from losses than I have from victories. Like
Definitely.
I've been to two previous Welsh Masters. Did I place well in either of them? Hell no. I won one game both of those weekends. I went to a tournament up in Leicester as well, Blood and Oil. Uh, if you guys are watching and still about, I still have that ticket and hat to claim. So watch it. But I placed low but high enough at the top of the low rankings to get a ticket.
No.
So it's not all about the winning. You're always learning. There is always something to figure out, tweak in your list for like the next tournament or the next game with your mates. Yeah, any of that, just don't take it to heart. Just roll with it. Have fun. It's a game.
And if you do lose your game, there's always beating them over the head in the car park afterwards. But I don't encourage that.
We don't encourage after game violence,
No, not at
unless
all.
they are insulting you throughout the game.
Nope.
Then I'll leave it to your imagination.
On table
No.
violence only. But
Yeah, no. All jokes aside, try to be as respectful as your opponent as possible. Like I know one of my mostly pet peeves is meta players, because I try and build lists to get around meta players in everything I do. It could be from card games to miniature tabletop games. Uh, just because I love annoying meta players, because they get really, really grumpy and upset about them losing.
Yep.
That's my own personal way of, I could lose the game, but I've had fun by annoying that person, by disrupting what they've done all their research into it, and you could just pull one absolutely gorgeous bullshit move which will win you a game, and they're getting upset about it, and it's so much fun. But that's just
If
my
it's
own personal
stupid, but it
amusement.
I have
works.
stories about that sort of thing.
yeah,
But
I
we
find,
can go into those in another episode if people really want us to, like
Yeah.
tales of previous tournaments or whatever.
I've found that
Yeah.
When playing War Machine at tournaments, even on higher tables, I've not really found that same like sneery competitive, and it's a game where you're much less likely to have won or lost the game at list selection. I played in a tournament for Old World at the weekend, and I lost all three of my games, and I lost all three of them before I even got to the table, because I had made two critical errors in my list, which made the whole list rubbish. And that doesn't really apply in War Machine. You can always make things work, and there's always going to be something there. Yeah. Yes. Right.
A more lighter note, cheer Mazz up. It's okay, buddy. These things happen.
They do, and it's fine. I would, to be
You
fair, it was because I'm not particularly familiar with the rules, and thus I made a couple of mistakes. I've changed literally one thing in the list. Suddenly, the list is now viable. um, but
Well, that's good at least.
yeah, that's it.
Um,
It's and that's the thing. If you find that your list for War Machine doesn't work the way you wanted it to, have a chat with your opponent about it. Say, right, okay, I
Yeah.
really struggled with this that you brought. What can I do about it? What can we have a look at? Your opponent might not know your faction very well, but if they're a more experienced War Machine player than you, I've always found that War Machine players are very, very helpful, and will generally go, okay, well, let's
absolutely.
have a look and see, could we have dropped this model because that didn't really do a lot in that battle, to then take X instead, which has got this synergy, which would have helped you in this situation. Um, yeah, I found that's
Yeah,
that's been the way that I have
absolutely agree.
learnt list building over the last 20 years.
I I've had next to no issues at tournaments for War Machine. Like you will find the odd one or two people, but that's when ego comes into it. But either way, it's always a good time because the amount of people there for a fun time outweigh those who are just out to be outright dicks.
Exactly, that's it.
Exactly. Um, Again, if you happen to be in the area of Dorset and you do want to play a game with us, contact us on our Discord and we'll arrange that with you. Um, Maybe in the near future we might run events so you can come meet all of us lovely people.
Things are happening in that regard, but because I have to
Yes,
move
So
away
the
from.
soon,
things are being
revealing plans that not even I'm aware of or privy to.
No, exactly. Well, it hasn't gone very far yet because I have to move away for a month while my house is ripped apart. Once I'm back from September,
Exile.
things are going to start happening locally. So more on that when it comes. Obviously, we've got Dom down in Devon who's going to be reaching out and letting us know about events. So awesome. We'll keep you up to date on any of those as well, and hopefully we can attend some of them. Bath and Bristol have got some events as well, so lots going on.
it's probably I know it's been mentioned a couple of times, but Maz and I, for any of our listeners who are going to the Welsh Masters this year, Maz and I will be there.
We're going to do a list breakdown of our lists before we go, which is probably not the best plan, but there we go. And do that once I've
If,
built my second list again and decided whether or not my list is completely stupid or not. But
and if you do happen to see them, just remember if you want a photo with them, ask very nicely and politely. I know they're not as famous as some people, but they will be more than willing to.
I don't quite
Also,
get swarmed.
if you do see Maz in real life, ask him how to pronounce War Chief Banner's name.
Ask him how to pronounce what? You cut out.
After the fire frog or chief name in real life, and
I
watch him
have to.
struggle, watch him sweat.
Yeah, I'm going to get it down. By the time I go to Welsh, I'm going to have that down as to how to pronounce it.
I think I might on the Patreon to throw this in as a slight shill, but might put in just for a YouTube short of Maz trying to do this if I could get enough people to support it, just to see if he could get it.
If you can get 50 supporters by the end of September, there you go. There you go, and then you can try and get me to
So
pronounce
you're
various
hearing it
odd
here,
words.
folks. If we get 50 people subscribed to our Patreon, which is very cheap right now,
Or even not even the Patreon, just 50 subscribers on YouTube,
No,
just to hear him say
no,
it.
50 on the Patreon, and then you can humiliate me. There you go. That's my price. £50 a month.
so Maz's humiliation is set to 50 quid.
Yep.
We
That's
now have
pretty
a
cheap.
price ticket.
Or any other words that you really think that we could struggle to say, War Machine words, not actual words. Any of the people from War Machine, if you have a name that you think they should struggle with, please add. They will make a list. We'll get that
Hey.
soon.
Join the Discord. We will see your lists and laugh heartily as we try to pronounce words that are
Oh, we lost Mike. He's back.
Mike's returned. Return of the King. But
I
I
struggle with
think,
English like half the time.
That's it.
yeah, I
Right.
barely speak good English.
Well, I hope we've given you some food for thought on list building. It's something we can talk about indefinitely. If you got any specific questions, pop them in the comments. Join the Discord. Come and talk to us. We'll happily discuss lists, or you can post any list you've got, and we can talk about what we think we might change or any suggestions. Absolutely more than happy to talk about that. But yeah, in the meantime, hit that like
The other
button.
thing we should need to say is, subscribe, like button, and bell notification thingy.
All of that jazz, all of that algorithmic jazz. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next time.
Ciao.